Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, we have some people here soon. But if not, do like we always do. The nice thing, though, you can see Vega 23 skateboard over my shoulder. Thank you so much. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully, some people join me. Wow. I was going to cover a few different things tonight, guys, but we're going to see. Good to see some people. That's kind of getting worried. I sat here almost 2 minutes by myself, so. Hey, Frankie, how's it going? Good luck with them photo panels, Frankie. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, the print house. Hey, the print house. I've got a question for you. I know you have the Epson roll printer. Few questions for you about that. Can you use your Graph Tech to do contour cutting after? Like pretty much laminate it and then contour cut it with that Graph Tech? I know they have that little, what is it, CE Graph Tech? I know they have that little, what is it, CE 600 or something, Graph Tech. Yeah, that's what I do a lot. Made a video on it. Which video? Because I know you talked about it before. I don't know if I've missed that video or not, because I wanted to get me a roll printer, and I seen your video on that Epson, and I knew how much you liked it over the other one you're using. Yeah, the 600. Because I was going to get that Epson, that 6300. And the other question, too, do you like the other media besides the Epson media? Because, yeah, I did, Frankie. Search Corel Epson. Okay, I definitely will. The print house. Because I was going to say, I got their sticker sample in. I think it's from Jet Prints or something like that. One of the vendors that I was dealing with looking at buying it. The only thing I didn't like, and I know they've got other medias, but the Jet Print. What's up, General Zappa? you guys should see Rye's photos. He's Mr. Stash. Oh, it's fine, the print house. But yeah, the Epson, what I was gonna say, like the samples they sent me, it was either like a super gloss and it was kind of a weird gloss, or it was that matte paper. They only sent me the two different samples. But I know other people use other papers with it, and their other papers look better than the papers that Epson sent me. So I was kind of anxious to see. Okay. Now, are you using your big Graph Tech to cut, or are you using the 600? I use Hickman's label media. Okay. Here is Mr. Stash King himself, guys. Rye. Let me hide myself so you can check Mr. Stash King out. Doing his normal thing. Duck face with his happy stash. Mr. DJ King himself. That's not a plaque, Frankie. That is a skateboard that is behind me over my shoulder. That's a Vega 23 skateboard. Okay, so the CE 500 is the older. Okay, now question 2 to Print House. Would you suggest going? I know they have a. I'm trying to think. Jet sells one. Jet Prints or whatever. They had one. It's pretty much sheet cutters. It's a CS, but they sell their own little, I guess, software with it, because you literally, you're cutting it into the sheets and then running it through. But it's made to do sheet printing. Would you suggest that, or just use the like the CE 6000? You use your CE 5000 for all Epson work. Okay. Yeah, because I knew you had your other videos. Literally, I went back trying to find everything about it, because I was getting ready to buy it, where everyone's kind of set on that price at, what is it, $33.25 or something like that on the pricing. And so, I mean, there's not much leverage on that. Some people were giving you some vinyl with it, some weren't. But then I was asking them about cutting, and it just depended on who I was looking at to buy it from. Hey, Lily, what's up? But I was going to say, and what I was running into, though, is like most of my vendors didn't sell even other. They only sold one other thing. Price went up. Yeah, that's what I think. I want to get one. I was pretty much content on doing it. I've been telling Ryan I'm going to get one. And then the only thing that I wasn't happy with is, I think it's Jet something. They're out in Washington. They sent me the samples, and it was only the Epson paper. Lily's here. Boo, Rye says. It was only the Epson paper, and literally that Epson, it just had like a very, it's like a cheap made sticker feel, the one that they sent me. And I knew some of the stuff I've got from other roll printers, and even we bought roll labels before, they didn't feel like that. And so I wasn't super sold on it. And I asked them, and they're like, they had more, they said, but they only sent me that sample. So you never use the Epson paper? Okay. Yeah, because I just wasn't sold on it. Like, I mean, the gloss was like overly gloss, but it wasn't like a gloss sticker per se. It was kind of weird. It was hard to explain. It was just there. It wasn't all there. And then like their paper, I mean, it was a matte paper, which was fine, but it was just matte. It was matte paper. They didn't have like a matte bop paper or matte bop. It was just, they had paper and then they had the gloss bop, and that's all they sent. No, it wasn't semi. It was literally just pretty much matte as could be. It was like literally printing almost, yeah, it's almost like using one of like a label printer like this. The finish was like pretty much matte, and it said matte on their paper. None of them said semi, so it was kind of somewhat of a letdown in a way on their paper quality. And that's what kind of put it on a halt for me, because when I talked to some other ones, they said they would send me some samples out. I haven't got them yet, and I didn't want to kind of jump if I didn't like that paper quality. And then like some of them couldn't answer me on like using the Graphtec after for the cutting. Yeah, some gloss bop is thin. Now, question for you to Print House. I know you've got your Avery has some label media. Cool. I know you have your latex printer. And I know the difference between like the vinyl where we print large format vinyl. Do you think you can get a decent quality sticker out of the roll labels that has a lot of the characteristics of vinyl? Because I know, and I'm saying that also saying that you're going to laminate it also, because I know, well, I'm comparing it laminating them both, I guess you'd say. Did some short squint eye guy say something? Yeah, Lily, he said he loved you long time. Hey, what's up, Juan? Yeah, and Rye said he had a whoever Emmanuel Zapta mustache. And so I don't know how to pronounce the name, so that's the name. And that was the mustache that he was going for 2 weeks ago. No guests tonight, Frankie. I do have something cool, and it's actually like I did it on the back of one of my normal coasters because I didn't feel like Rye wants to fight. I have time today. Lily don't threw the gloves off. She's going straight hood. She's hockey fighting this one. But I'm giving credit to the print house on this, and I've done it before. But the print house showed me coasters. I did that cork piece wherever it's at, but I wanted to see how it would hold up on these other coasters. So I actually took some of my transfers, my direct to film transfers, and actually pressed them onto the back of one of my other coasters. And then what I did also, if you see the bananas and pickles, I labeled it. So you can actually stack layers of direct to film up and not really have a problem. I stacked that on top of the other one, and it stacks right up. And then, of course, it's on there. Now, what I would probably suggest doing, and the print house would tell you too, I would probably clear coat it. Give me that skateboard, fool. That's the only one I got, right? I had to like beg to get it made. It's a one of one skateboard. He did for me. Since I'm a mad skateboarder, I got my Santa Cruz style and my Tony Hawk Air, Bob Burnquist style. But and thank you for the super chat, Rye. Don't give him anything, Waldo. But what I was going to say too, and I peeled it off, but literally, and I got videos coming out on it, I took a ceramic tile and actually sublimated these transfers onto ceramic tiles. And direct to film transfers sticks onto that perf. The print house was a skater. That was the only thing. I did BMX. I did BMX racing, and I did half pipes and like park riding. And then I had to quit. I ended up having 13 concussions by the time I was 18, so it didn't work well for me. So my parents slowly suggested that's where a lot of that stuff, like these right here, where I showed you some of these old plaques. These are like the national championship series and all that. These are all races that I used to go around the world riding. Hey, what's up, Pam? So I used to go around having fun. And then I used to I did a taco eating contest against my brother. Did you win? Did you win, Lily? Hey, the thing that you missed, Rye, is I'll show you the skateboard up close. Because it is pretty cool. It's an 8.5 deck. So, but he also, if you look behind it, it's got the Vega 23 marks all over it. But the front deck is just the raw board still. Now the thing is never going to sit. I knew I should have never listened to Rye. BMX was with the training wheels. Now that's probably for Rye, because you guys got to remember, Rye's like this tall. So I don't think on a little 12-inch bike Rye can reach the ground. Yeah, that's one thing. Hey, there you go to Print House. Do that for your intro. Just have yourself ollieing. That is one thing I could never, ever do. I tried forever. Like, I had so many skater friends, and I could never ollie. I tried the hardest. I could never get my feet to, like when I lift up, I can never get my foot to slide good enough to actually get the back end to pop up. And I hated that. It was a thing, like, because I'm always someone that likes to be good at what I do. And if I'm not, I usually will go to another sport. And I'd always hate that because, like, just never was good at. Waldo, do you have to do BMX when do you do BMX when you don't even know how to ride a bike? It was a video game, Juan. I played the video game. Dave Mira. I use paddles. He had blocks on his bike. Yeah, I used to have a lot of cool, but I still got, like, a lot of my parts are, like, I didn't know that people still buy that retro stuff. Like, my pedals are through the roof. I got in one of the other rooms, I still have, like, one of the most sought after pedals. It was GT Elite He-Man pedals. And I still have them. And still got, like, the Technique bike cranks and all. I still got a lot of my old stuff, but never ride anymore. Then even when I worked at the bike shop, I got into mountain biking also as a pastime in between, and then road biking, which I still have my road bike, my GT, but I literally started to ride again after I snapped my right Achilles. And then literally, I don't know, by the time I was able to really ride with it again, with the clip pedals, or clipless pedals are called, but they actually clip in, I probably rode a month, and then I snapped my left one, and I haven't been on a bike ever since. So it's been 2.5, 3 years now since I've been on a bike, except in the exercise place. I rode them sit-down bikes, but I used to like riding bikes a lot, believe it or not. Hey, the Print House, if you don't mind, shoot me an email, because I had some more questions about that too. I don't have the stickers in front of me, because I was really, like I said, very interested in the printer. Oh, you guys are hilarious. Hey, look, I can fit in with Rye. and then and then here's Rye's other. These two are amazing. That's all I can say. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say to print out, because it's like I can speak over the phone easier on some of it than I can, like, trying to explain it. I honestly can't and will not ride anything that has two wheels. I'll crash it, guaranteed. The last time I crashed anything on a two-wheel was actually my Ducati. I had a Ducati 749, and that was the last two-wheel vehicle I crashed. And what was funny, it wasn't really nice, Frankie. They look pretty good, Frankie. Here's one of the panels Frankie did, guys, on the sub panels. Came out pretty good, Frankie. And then here's one he did of looks like a Mustang Cobra. But yeah, that was the last time. And like I said, the bad thing was I was literally going down my gravel road that you guys seen in the videos. And I laid it down at the top of my hill, and it slid all the way down to the bottom. And I was probably going maybe 5 miles an hour. But that fender on it, that fairing, looked like I was wrecked at about 100 miles an hour. It destroyed that. I had to replace all the fairings on the left side or the right side of it. I'm about to get on the road. Oh, sucker. Drive safe, Rye. Be careful, man. What you need, Rye, is a good, healthy meal. That's what you need. You can't go wrong with healthy meals. And that other thing the other day, Rye, that you said tasted like sausage, they told me it was all like eggs and then vegetables. So I don't know. Because I was getting you something healthy for once. And then that shake was supposed to be healthy mangoes and other healthy food stuff. So if it wasn't, and if it had sausage, blame them people. Because I clicked the healthy meal button for once. I accidentally put some spray adhesive on the photo panel, and now it's sticky. Yeah, that's going to be there, Frankie. And I don't know really a way. You could take light rubbing alcohol, like a 50%, and just go light over it, and it might bring some of that off, Frankie. Never laid any of my bikes down. Some close calls, but yeah, it's. And when the funny thing, that Ducati, I mean, I got out from under it, so it didn't hurt me. But yeah, it hurt my pocketbook big time. That plastic was not cheap on that thing. I think it was like $2,500 for the front fairing. And all it is if you know anything about Ducatis or anything, Ducatis are not fancy. They don't have stickers on them really. They've got their number in a sticker color, and that's it. It's just solid plastic. And mine was a red Ducati. So it was just a red plastic. It's not super crazy. The bikes are, but their plastics are not. So, I mean, they're just so proud of their stuff. Yeah, fairings are like it made me sick buying that fairing piece for that. And then I had a little scuff on I had gold nitrite shocks on it. I had the S shocks on it, which is their race ones. And it had a little, like, it didn't mess it up. It just scratched it. So I tried my best to polish it out. And I mean, you could still see it, but I was like, I'm not buying a new outer housing on it. It costs too much. I've owned several Gixxers. Imagine Ducati prices. Yeah. Now the crazy story, my friend's man, he had a TL and he used to ride like Dragon's Tail and all that. Very, very fast rider. Rode with Nicky Hayden and all them back in the day. The craziest story with him, he was on his Buell. He just got it. He didn't get the insurance for it yet. He was heading home, literally laid it down on the side. And since he didn't want to ruin it too bad, he wrote it out underneath it. And his pinky, literally, it ground through the glove and ground his pinky off. It was a nasty story. And like they tried saving some of it. They ended up having to cut it off, the rest of it. But like he literally, it would have been like his hand would have been fine. He could have threw the bike. He just did not want to mess up the plastic. And he already was on the side. And he tried riding it out. And it was a lesson learned because his helmet too, it wore through the plastic and it was into the foam. It was a nice shoey helmet. So, I mean, he did a number on it. Jigs, I used to, like I said, I used to ride a lot, like a lot of the crotch rockets and all that. I like, especially around here, we got a lot of back roads and all that. And back road ridings are fun. And I'm a big advocate, like from riding with my friends, anyways. They were very good riders, and I learned really quick that like the Habusas and all that. I mean, they're fast. Don't get me wrong. Them bikes are made for straight lines, and that's it. You try to throw that bike around on a back road riding all day long, it is going to wear you out and beat you to death, and you're never going to get to the full potential of that bike, because that bike is made to go fast in a straight line. It's very cumbersome to move that around. I haven't rode in years, but I still renew my motorcycle endorsement. Yeah, that's kind of, it's been, wow, it's been a long time for me too, because I had my cousins pass away on bikes, and I rode a little after that. And then I built them other bikes that you see like on my Facebook and all that hydraulic two-wheeler. And then the trike gets registered as a motorcycle, but I haven't really rode. Haven't gone out more than because the other stuff don't really count. Like if I take them out and move them onto a trailer or something, I like anything over a 10-minute ride. It's probably been 3 years or so since I've been on something and rode. And it's not because it's just I had time and been too busy, really. Yeah, Habusas are nice. I mean, they're made for straight lines though. That's like I rode like the 1096, and that bike was beautiful. But I mean, I was more content with my first crotch rocket I ever had was a 748 Ducati bipostal. I got it in my senior year in high school. I got a yellow one, ordered it, and that was my first one. Dry clutch, which is a little bit different, and then I swapped that out and put reverse shifting on it. And it was a fun little toy, but and then what was weird, I had it, and I had, and like, I mean, it's an amazing bike, but I had so much envy of a lot of my friends. Like my one, he had a Gixxer, 600, but the color scheme he had on it, it was a purple and black, like flaked and all that. Beautiful looking bike. And I'm like, man, mine was a yellow bike. My 748 was. My 748 was yellow. I mean, it had the single side swing arm and all that. And then my 749 that's when they went back to the dual side swing arm for like the first time ever. And then they went back to the single side. But yeah, it was like I was more envious of their color patterns and all that. I was like, man, they got an awesome thing. I was like, mine's just yellow, solid yellow. But seems like I make everything out of yellow nowadays. So how's everyone else doing? You could have used some tape too, Frankie. Try a little tape next time. Other than that, did you like how they came out, Frankie? What's up, Eric? I used to had a FRZ 600 and an FRZ 1000. Too many tickets. My one friend, his name's Crisscross. He used to be in charge of, like, if you buy any custom rims or remember motorcycles back in like Orange County chopper days, the RC component rims I used to do, he's in charge of all, or used to be. He retired from there last year, but he was in charge of anything they did that RC components did. Like, so they had the contract with Orange County choppers way back in the day. They also have the contract for the Cobra Jet Mustang. Was it $250,000 Mustang, the drag racing Mustang only? They do the rims for them because RC Components is in the drag racing rims now for cars. But he used to be in charge of them. I rode with him. That guy, I have seen him, like, he's never got a ticket, but like, I'm one of the people that always stop. He was one of the people, that guy never stopped. Like, if lights came on, he kept going, and he would get away from them. But man, I've seen some crazy driving. I mean, that's how people get hurt, but But like he used to do too, like we do track days at Talladega, and it's the track, not the oval track Talladega. But you can rent like there's a few places you can rent tracks out, and we used to do track days and rent the tracks. That's like the guy that ground his pinky off. One of the craziest things, I watched him go by one of my other friends, Mike Woods, doing a wheelie at about 120 miles an hour, and he had a flat, and he still passed him on that. I mean, it was just that guy could ride. Like I said, I had fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. I mean, like I said, I don't like the things I miss or don't miss is the cost of all the stuff. I mean, it's never cheap. That literally too. That's why when one of my first machine shops I had was one of the reasons because of that stuff. Because like I bought that reverse clutch setup or reverse shifting setup and paid an arm or leg for it, and I was like, man, this is too much money for what it is. Like literally, I mean, the parts were nothing. I mean, metal wise, you're looking maybe $5 worth of metal, and it was easier literally just to start making my own stuff. Like, especially on them, Ducatis are dry clutches, so you don't have to hold fluids in them. So it was easier just to carbon fiber lay up, cut some stuff out. And it all just depends, Frankie. The market's it's up there. Like it's one of them things you can get what customers wanting to pay. It's kind of like do this. Go online, Frankie, and look at what like an 8x10 photo sells for. Look at Walmart. Look at here's the thing too. Go to Walmart, go to Office Max or Office Depot, whatever you have near you, and look at because they do prints on all the different medias. So they'll even do canvas prints. And look at what everything sells for, like an 8x10 on nice print stock and all that, and see what it sells for. Because now some don't have the sublimation metal, but look online too and see what photos are on metal, and that will get you the best kind of pricing, Frankie. Because I'll say this, I've sold them, and it depending on who you're selling it to, you can get more. But I mean, you can easily make money at that range too. You can do 10 all day long and make money. There is a little bit more meat on the bone though. If you want to kind of push the limits, you can go a little bit higher, but it depends on your area also. Like I said, every area, hey Carla, how's it going? Every area difference on pricing. Like for instance, what I sell tumblers finished for around here is like low ball compared to a lot of other people. Like I do them and sell them $15 all day long. People sell them 18 to $20 everywhere else. It just depends on the market where you're selling them. I have a very high competition in this area, so I have to sell mine a little bit lower. I never got another email, Carla. I will send that tonight. I want a Harley now. I'm done with that crotch rockets. Yeah, Harleys are fun. Like, have you ever seen my? Well, I don't think you have, Eric. Like, if you go on my, actually, I don't have my dual bike on. Let me show you on here. Gotta remember where I have it. Shoot me the email, Carla, and I'll get it sent out once I hop off here. I got a cool bike to show you, Eric. This is one I actually built. I used to do machining and all that. This is one I actually built. Let me show you the best side first. See if it'll turn sideways and get a better view. Yeah. Let me go to, I don't want that side. There's probably the best view. That is one that I built, Eric. It's kind of different. And then I'll show you the other side. there's the front of it. And then I'll explain. These slots are for Audi A6 headlights. Them 3 holes are actually for the cold air intake. Here's the other side. It's actually got a turbo on it. It's a 1-horse turbo. And if you notice, there's no belts, chains, or gears. I'm trying to find what kind of engine does it have. That one actually has a diesel. That one has a Perkins motor on it, and the other one I built has a Yanmar. But what it is I use on that thing. Let me pull up and I'll zoom in for you. Here is the actual motor on the thing. The motor it's direct drive, so the motor's bolts directly to the wheel. So it's like a 0-turn lawnmower would actually function in theory. So you have no belts, chains, or gears. It's all direct drive. So you're limited on that by your wheel diameter. That bike will run 98 miles an hour top speed, but it will do it forward and reverse. You have no gears on it either. So, and then them tires are 330s on the front and 330s on the back. But if you notice too, it's a swing arm up front also. So what that does is where normally you grab front brake and you get that nosing effect because the shocks are being compressed. With this, it's a swing arm, so you don't have the nosing effect. It just sinks in kind of like a car does in a way, but a car will nose hard enough, but it sinks in. It's a different style of riding, but it's a different feel. It's been done way back in the day, but I just literally went with that. That bike was about 1,100 pounds. So it was pretty heavy. The nice thing with them 330s on the front and the rear, though, literally that bike sits itself up. And literally all you do is roll the throttle back. You go forward, you let off, and it actually will brake it slows down. It's kind of like regenerative braking. So it regenerates. So it's slowing you down as you do that. If you want to bypass that, there is a way. You pull on this one, you pull a clutch in on it. I've got a few different ones that I've built. That one, you pull the clutch in and it lets it freewheel just like a clutch on a car or on a bike. So if you're sitting at a stop sign and let's say you don't want to, the throttle is positioned at neutral. So when it's all the way forward, the bike won't creep, but you can rock it just a little bit to get the creep. So if you're worried about it creeping, you just hold the clutch in, but you don't really need to. It won't go forward until you start rolling it back, but you roll it back and it just keeps going. But if you got to move the bike, as you know, like on the other ones, you got to drop them in neutral. All you do is pull that clutch in on this thing and it lets the fluid move so you can push it in or out of anywhere. The nice thing too, though, that one has a switch. So you flip the switch and you can roll. It drives backwards, same speed as it would forward. So if you got to move it around, it goes forward and backwards. Also, if you look, them little canisters on that front right there are hydraulic pistons. So it's got hydraulic steering on the front. So as I turn the wheel up top here, there's pistons that correlate to the bottom. So I've got hydraulic steering. So with that, you got about 1,500 PSI pushing against that wheel to turn it. So it takes nothing to turn that bike. But yeah, my background, Eric, I'm an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. I've got patents on stuff, and I used to do engineering full time. I still work in the field, but don't really design many things anymore. It's usually you just do support on things. The place that I used to do a lot of crazy designs for, they're no longer in business. But yeah, I made a lot of interesting parts. And like I said, that's like the turbo on that. You don't really need, like with hydraulics, you're using the torque of the motor. So you got to run the diesel motor. You can't use gas because they just don't have enough torque. But the turbo is just for sounds, just to make it sound a little bit more meaner. Because the downside about it, that's only like right around a 30-horse motor. And so that pipe on that 30 horse is very small. So it's a weird sound. It's kind of like a tractory sound because you're only running at 3,200 RPMs also. So it's like, but you don't get that Harley deep throaty sound. I made the exhaust as good as I could. But you are limited on the the sound that you can really get from it. Trying to see if they had any of the other. And then I got my other trike that I did the test on. For some reason, this thing ain't pulling everything up. Just trying to find the. Trying to find the other thing I had on it that I did. Let me see if it'll pull up now. Yeah, because if you ever watch, I'm trying to see if it's still on. Here you go. If you ever watch Counting Cars or know who Michael Henry is, Horny Mike, he's a good friend of mine. I went to school with him. I think it was this one right here. Yep, wrong one. But yeah, he was really big on the bike also. There's his comment. Way back, this thing's like 10 years ago I had this built. But yeah, like I built that a long time ago. It was one of my other things. The other thing too, if you actually look at my old videos, you type in my trike, my ride. Here's the other one that I actually built. Well, it's playing a commercial, so give me a second and the commercial drops. But this is when I was thinner. But this is the 3-wheel one that I actually did. Hey, what's up, Mike the Entrepreneur? Ooh. But you can see on that where I rolled backwards and it rolls forward. On this one, you don't have to push a button. This one on this bike, I actually had a plate on the bottom, and I'll find you the other plate with it. It actually has a plate on it, so literally all you do is push forward. It's like a zero-turn lawnmower. You push forward to go forward, you let off, it slows up, you push your heel, and it goes backwards. So if you want to brake really quick, you can rotate it back, and it will brake really fast. And this stuff was designed way before the T-Rexes and all that stuff's been out. Like this stuff's 15, 20 years old when I made these things, or 15, 20 years ago. Now there's stuff everywhere on here from all these other people. Here's like another video of me going down. I think I was going about 45 right there. And that was in front of one of my other buildings. I have embroidery to practice on. See y'all later. Good luck, Lily. Let me know how it goes. And then here was another video of it coming in. But yeah, I built everything, suspension and everything. The wheels are actually old tractor wheels, single axle bearings on them. Just because that's all I really had available to me when I did it at that time. Have a good, safe night, Lily. Be careful. So it was done pretty much on the cheapest possible way that you could make something. So it wasn't overly built. It was just literally stuff that I either had laying around or that was donated. Let me find. Here's kind of a, well, let me make sure the commercial ends. Here's the walk around of it. And these are actually street legal vehicles. As you see, it's got headlights on it. That lever right there, next attached to the wheel, is a turn signal. It actually turns. And the nice thing about all the hydraulic stuff, everything is single axle. That's an old Mickey Thompson tire that was just sitting there. And then it's got kind of ram air on each side because you have hydraulic fluid on each side, or hydraulic on the one side and radiator on the other. And so that's how you actually cool it. But there's literally me pushing it, explaining how it goes forward and backwards. And then the gauges are like hydraulic gauge, a speedometer. And then them white blocks are because when it's sitting there, depending where you take it, there isn't a permanent brake on it. And it will roll and kind of hold its own force, but there's not much that does it. So what I'd always do is I got it, Carla. So what I would do is take literally chalks and just chalk the wheel up if I was on a place where I was worried about it rolling away. Because the thing too, it can't really go too far, because what happens when it rolls, it takes that hydraulic pump and pumps fluid in it and builds pressure up. So then it holds itself. But it can roll a little bit. So just for safety precautions, I always took chalks with me and chalked it up wherever I would drive it. Love Mickey's. Have 32s on my truck. Yeah, like I said, all that stuff was just way old. There's some of the stuff I used to do, like I said, back in the day. Some fun stuff. But yeah, it's just random things, like I said, that I made or worked on and designed. I've done chainsaw, patents, lawnmowers, worked on just a bunch of different things. I also was the one that created the cowboy beer box hats. So if you don't know what them are, let me pull them up. I'm the one that invented these. And you can see how old that is. That's 2011, some of them photos. But invented them even before then. I'm the one that invented the Stetson style. I used to have like rights to them all. Let me find some cool ones. Like there's probably one of the coolest ones, like the Corona ones or the Bud Light Select. There's like a Bud Light Select one. Miller Lite. But any box that you could Red Dog. But any box that like things come in, you can turn them into that. Yeah, I actually used to, Eric. I actually have I had a contract with Spencer's in the mall. We literally sold them all over the United States. I also have a contract with Budweiser and Miller and all that stuff. They're sold if you do tours of their factories. Um, but I was actually been sued by Budweiser back in the day. That's how I found out of a lot of stuff about patents, trademarks, logos. Like for instance, where I just my phone froze up. Dang it! Like a good example. See, these are all made like these were made with Sprite boxes. I can take, and we've done it for other places, is I can take a box or your logo and make it where, because when we fold them, as you see on the side, they don't always line up nice. Because it's just how the boxes are going to fold. Well, if I take your logo, I can create and make a sticker and put it on the cardboard and print it and make them look perfect. And we've done that for companies. Well, the problem is we didn't do that with beer boxes, but literally we were going to, and I was like, well, better not, because if you print their logo and you don't have the rights, you can get sued. And literally what they sued us for anyways is because, like, for instance, which this is Miller, but Miller never sued us. It was Budweiser. Miller lines up nice and neat on that front of that cap there. So there's only so many ways you can do that. So what it was is literally I needed some Land Shark boxes because the only way to get that stuff is to drink all that beer or have people drink it all. And so what we were doing was literally doing that, buying beer for companies. What's up, Vega? Hey, everyone's loving the board, Vega. Everyone has seen it. We've had a lot of people want it, but the board's not for sale. But if you guys go to his website, he's got some Blessed Bavaria stuff on the site that you guys can buy boards. Sometime like that would fit well with my man cave. Yeah, and see the other thing too, Eric, about them is that hat is one size will fit 99.9% of the people. Because what I did is, like, there's a lot, it looks simple, but there's a lot of engineering and design work that went into them. Like, to make that Stetson shape, Stetson owns the right to it, so you can't call it Stetson. There was people that were doing the square beer box before me. They were taking the beer box, setting it on top, and just cutting the sides. Someone asked, could you make it in a cowboy hat, a true cowboy hat, like a Stetson style? So I literally made a sheet metal form, it's called, in Pro E, and unfolded it and made me templates, and I've got clicker presses and all that, stamped them all out and was doing it that way. But to make it more fittable for everyone, you have to find a way to make cowboy hats are done by stretching it and all that, and you can't really do that for everyone. So what I do is there is a 2-inch wide, which isn't 2 inches wide, but it's almost that wide. I take a 2-inch wide elastic band. They're laid sideways, and it runs around the whole inside of the hat. And so by doing that, you literally got 4 inches of adjustment on each side of that box so that it will fit almost anybody. I've got a friend that wears like an 8.5 or 9. That thing fits him. Now it pushes it all the way to the edge, but you can do kid sizes too. What we do also, like the Coke and Pepsi, we made smaller dies. So we have like a kid style and we had an adult style, so you could fit any size. But the other cool thing about them too, beer boxes are made out of waterboard. So it is a treated cardboard. So that's how you can get them in the coolers and they don't just disintegrate right away. So it's treated. So by what we do is we flip them on. There's 2 boxes on the hats. So both wax sides are facing outwards. So like you can swim with them things, and literally you take them out, they'll dry out. They're perfectly fine. Because the other thing, we're spending a lot of time designing it. Inside the brim, there is a piece of wire that goes all the way around. So that's how you can fold it in all the different shapes. So you can do like the Toby Keith fold, or you can do like a Garth Brooks fold. You can fold them brims any way you want, and it's going to hold that shape. So you can roll the cowboy bill sideways and then dip it down. You can do the roll up. You can do more flatter bill styles. you can fold them and contour them any which way you want to. So that's the other thing. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of little things that went into designing them. Except me, I got a big stupid head. I would bet money, Mike, it will fit you. I would almost wager the bank on that. I haven't found anyone that hasn't been able to fit into them. I mean, if it's kids too small, but like on the big ones, I haven't really seen anyone that could not get it to fit. Now, it might not be comfortable because all that elastic pushing, but they do normally fit most people. But yeah, guys, also too, check out Vega's website. He does have skateboard decks on there. So he wraps them and all that. And I'm sure for the right price, which I don't know if Vega's still on here or not, he can customize you a skateboard deck if the price is right. But yeah, Mike, it's crazy how much them things will fit. I'll have to bring one into the show one of these times and show you kind of how you tear them apart, I guess you'd say, or the fit. But yeah, they're all sewn. Yeah, there you guys go. So for $60, he can get you a custom skateboard. Guys, and like I said, they're amazing. Like I said, I mean, you guys have seen them. You guys commented. Sorry, tongue twister today. But yeah, like, awesome board, guys. Like I said, these are 8.5s. I mean, so you could skate it. You're going to destroy the artwork. But if you do like I do and like them for art, it looks awesome. So, guys, go check him out. And like I said, the other video's out too, guys. And like I said, I'll pop it up one more time too. But you guys seen the unboxing. But like, here's his QR code. There you go. So if anyone wants to scan it, hit him up though, guys. He's pretty cool. Yeah, Carla, he's the guy that I was telling you about that's in Phoenix. He is downtown Phoenix. Did you show the shirt? The other, I only had the one shirt. Vega, there was no shirt in the box. I only got the skateboard and then all the candy. But yeah, there was no shirt. I wore the other shirt the other time though. The other one you gave me a while back. But yeah, I didn't see the other shirt. I don't know. Did you send a shirt with it or? Vega, you're in Arizona. Yeah, he's in Phoenix. Carla, Vega, if you want to tell her where your shop's at, he's got 2 shops. So Vega, you want to throw up on there, and I should be able to click the approval button, hopefully. Oh, it's all right, man. You always send me stuff anyway, so as people see, I'm rocking his hat. He's got hats and all that too. Okay, I understand that. Yeah. So his one shop, Carla, is at 2431 East Van Buren. And I think that is his big print shop. And then he's got a storefront with man, another time I could have told you they sell the nuts and all that stuff and the jerky. Man, tongue twister today. I follow him and everything. Let me see if he threw a video thing up. Because normally they do. Woo and Sons, there you go. Thank you so much, Vega. He had a cool looking drink earlier. It looks like it's a little spicy. Okay, I'm in Sun City. Have you tried to get a booth at the Earl Camp in September, Vega? I know the guy really well, and I was selling if you want to share a booth. Yeah, I seen the website. That's what Carla was saying. Working while listening. That's perfectly fine, Carla. Vega's driving right now, so I'm just communicating everything everyone either sends me, posts me, or if I can pull it up. It's one of the normal nights. Like, if there's any questions people got, shoot me questions. We'll try to answer them. If there's anything anyone wants to know about, shoot the question. I'll try to answer it. The other thing, too, guys, like I showed everyone last time, which is hard to see because the cover's over them, but Vegas sent some pretty cool stickers, too, guys. Like I said, Vega's a great guy, awesome to work with, quick turnaround time, and speaks multiple languages. Smile and wave. Yeah, I did get that. I said that one earlier. I did. It popped up on my phone. Here's another cool thing where people are asking about direct to films. One of my other lines that I have, we did these for it. Detroit Police, Real American Heroes. And we pressed it. And here's what it looks like on the shirt. So that was one of the other things. Am I coming to Phoenix? I am going to try, Carla. I did talk to Jesus, and I got to see how it's going, but I'm going to try to see him shortly. I'll let everyone know once I know for sure. But I did talk to him, and I told him, gave him an idea maybe when I'm going to try to come. I've got to see how everything's going between now and then. But I am planning on heading to Phoenix soon to hang out at Vegas shop and do some other stuff. Yeah, that was the DTF printer, Carla, where I have my DTF printer. I was doing some of my own stuff like I normally do. Like this coaster looks horrible, but where the wood cut is all destroyed. But that was one I did there just to show that you can press them onto wood. The tile, I was able to peel it off, but I had to peel really hard to get it off. But I got a ceramic tile I pressed and did on. And then I've got some other stuff. The videos will come out soon. Hopefully, because I get a little slow at getting videos out sometimes. But I do have videos on it. The unboxing video where you guys seen it on here, I think last week or the week before, that video was supposed to drop, and it's been delayed just because I'm slow at putting things together. Yeah, DTF is nice. The only downside I really have about it is, which it's anything about them, is DTFs. There's a few things. One is the maintenance. They're always high maintenance machines. You got to use them every day. If you don't, you're going to hate them things. Which I use it a bunch, but that is one thing you got to be cautious about. The other thing, too, depending on which model you have, if you don't use them every day, then print heads can jam up. And like, for instance, the print heads I've got, they're over $1,000 a print head. The i3200s, they're pretty pricey. And that one's got two. So that's the one downside. Mike says, just make sure you bring him some donuts. I sublimate loads of things. The other thing, too, about them, as you know, when you do sublimation, your color profile, Krispy Kremes, yeah. Now, what's funny, I love other donuts. If I'm doing a donut challenge, or if I'm eating a hot donut, man, you can't go wrong with Krispy Kreme because they're like so fluffy and light and good. Now I'm hungry for donuts. There's a Krispy Kreme near me by Arrowhead Mall. We'll bring a dozen. But what I was saying too about the transfers, and Eric uses transfers too, so he can speak on this too. One thing you will notice with transfers, because transfers are printed CMYK, so if you send them an RGB file, your colors will not come out correct. So some people, they end up Like, and here's a perfect example. This is a color strip band that you print sometimes before or after your prints. So them are your CMYK colors. And you do that to make sure they're working. This is a rainbow pattern color to kind of do a check on. And then that's just the back where you coat them. One thing, if you notice, though, you don't really have a true deep red. You have to kind of blend and make one because you don't have the true red that you would have. And this is a perfect example. Here's a few different color reds that we've done. They look similar on camera, but they're not. But if you use RGB red, that will look really orange when you print it. RGB red is not the same as CMYK red. The other thing, too, if you use blue that's in the RGB blue, which a lot of people call royal blue, it comes out a lot darker blue. So that is one thing you got to, like, if you draw on our CMYK, you don't have that problem at all because it's going to look just like you drew it. But, like, you just got to remember that, like, the colors are the colors that are in the RGB mode or our CMYK mode, not RGB. So, like, and, like, this is another transfer where I've showed this one millions of times. But, like, you can get the darker reds. You can see the red in here. And this the camera with these lightings are LEDs, and I'm at, I think, 56K on the color band or higher. So the red is not showing it as good as it does. But that being said, you can get the colors. I made the mistake of not paying attention to my color profile. I got purple instead of blue. Yeah, and that's the perfect example, like Eric was saying right there, because if you're not careful on that and you send it an RGB, because a lot of people draw on the RGB where it's more vibrant colors, you end up with, and like I said, this we wanted this blue anyways. We wanted a little bit darker. This is a little bit, we changed the color after. It's a little bit darker than we wanted because we print them on these black shirts. So we didn't want it. We went with a little bit lighter the next time because we didn't want it to blend in as much where the stars kind of blending into the shirt. But you have to be very cautious on your colors because and most people when they open I'm fine. I've been checked Friday, so I don't have the Rona. But I just have an upper respiratory infection, they said. I did get checked. But if you're not careful or if you're just used to having RGB open and you send it, the downside, most of these companies will not call you back and say, hey, your colors aren't what you sent. They just hit print on the software. Yeah, and like Eric said, reds and blues are the hardest. Hey, what's up, Patty? But so the big thing with that, and there are companies now that are doing, they're literally, I don't have one sitting here. It's a color swatch. So you can literally, like you pay it, it's $2 to $3, and they're literally sending you a sheet. So you're going to press it onto your shirt, and it's going to have, the good thing, Patty, I sell the mask. So I know a good place to buy the mask. They're running in the description down below. But yeah, the big thing with that is you're paying for, it's like $3 or $4 for that color profile. And then the downside too, like Eric knows how it goes. Like, so if you buy from the wand transfers, or if you buy from, my mind's drawing a blank, Fusion. I'll be selling mine soon. I'll keep you up to date, Eric, because we've been printing a lot of stuff, and I've been printing for me, and everything works. So I probably within the next week to 2 weeks will be opening it up to the public in the United States here. So the advantage of using me, I'll be probably around the same price as the other ones, but I'll be shipping here from the States. So like where, Eric, the downside from getting it from the wand place is that you've got about a 7 to 14 day turnaround time, so if you're in a rush, like everyone knows, that one cuts you really close. And that's the downside too, what I was saying too, like, so to buy that color swatch, so let's say you're going to if you wanted to buy a color swatch. So if you bought it, let's say from the wand place, you buy that, and now it takes 14 days, and it'll be there a little bit sooner, but let's say 14 days for you to get that. So now you and the other thing too, they all got pretty much a minimum shipping of like $15. So you spent $15 to get one transfer, or you can spend the money and just get your transfers and hope the color are close to it. But so if you only bought the one, well, then you get that shipped there. Now you spent $15 plus $3, so you're $18 in one thing just to do the color check. Now and then so let's say you do that. Now you get it back, and you can pick the colors to match perfect now. But now the downside of that, now you're a month out. You're 3 weeks. So that can be the downside of that. Now here he goes. Juan's been great. Last order I got within 6 days. That is awesome, Eric. Like I do keep track with them to make sure they're running good on people. And so far, they said, he normally will keep me up to date when he's behind. He hasn't been behind, but I haven't ordered any transfers from him probably in a month, just because I've been busy doing the other stuff, and I've been literally running my own here. I still use them, though, on a lot of the orders that I do for other people. But yeah, so on that case, now if you order, let's say, a test printout of the color swatches, so now you're 12 weeks or 12 days out from getting your final order, which isn't bad, but you spent that extra money. So you have two options when you do that. You can kind of do like Eric said, he was off on his last one. So it looked kind of purple. So you can buy them, your transfers, hope they're close. I will say this, anytime, do not use, if you are in the RGB mode, do not use standard blue, standard red. You will be disappointed. The red will be orange, or a very orange-ish color. It will look more on this spectrum side than that spectrum side. It will be more of the that color. I used to have it. I wrote it down for Rye, because Rye had the issue also on some of his stuff. If you go another color, and I don't have it in front of me, I wish I did it. If you enter that red in, it will be closer to what you want as red. It looks pretty dark on the screen, but it will give you more of your traditional red that you were seeing in RGB. Blue is the same way, though. If you use that standard blue, you're going to get more of a deep royal to navy blue instead of you're going to get a deep blue instead of the royal blue that you were looking at the screen. And like I said, and it's not always bad, but let's say, like I said, and this one it's just a tad bit darker than what I wanted. But let's say you had to come a lot closer. This might not pass what you were hoping for. And like I said, and red and blues are used a lot in a lot of things. Like, for instance, toys, dolls, and all that. So you're not going to get this color red using the CMYK unless you change the pan. If you're using the RGB, you're not going to get that one. Like I said, you can get it. It's just going to take some tweaking and making sure. And that's the only downside that I can really say about a lot of the places is they don't tell you that. They just say you send them the artwork, and they assume that you did it in RGB or CMYK. And if you didn't draw it in there, they're still going to print it in CMYK, because that's all direct-to-film printers are CMYK. They're just like a sublimation printer, CMYK, 4-channel. You do have other channels, like mine's. The other 4 channels are white. So that's how you're able to get the white background, and then the more print heads, the faster they work. The other ones that are using the single print head with 8 channels, they're doing they're using a 6-channel one. They're using CMYK 2 whites, or they're using CMYK and 4 whites on a single print head. But the more print heads you have, the faster it goes. It's just simple how they work. I just look up the color code and create my own color swatches. Yeah, and like Eric said, I mean, it takes a little time. There is no cheat method per se. I've been pretty accurate with the actual codes. Yeah, and that's the thing. Once you get it dialed in, guys, you can be pretty good. Like Eric's, he does a lot of work with them, and so you can do a lot. Like if you want to get into, let's say, full color print stuff, if you're doing wrap shirts, event shirts, like because we get a lot of people that want full color stuff, but don't want to pay full color screen printing prices. These are the way to go. Transfers are amazing. They hold up great. I've showed this a million gazillion times. The stretchability is through the roof. And they're holding up just as good. And then the other plus side, they're cheaper than like a super color print. Super color is not bad. It's just the prices. They don't leave much meat on the bone to make any money on it for you. This stuff, there's a lot of good profit that you can still be obtained. The other thing too, which I'm sure Eric does this, but he'll chime in probably in a minute, is like, for instance, order multiple jobs. The other thing too, these guys let you gang sheets. So if you're doing like a 13 by 19, draw your artwork and fill this whole sheet up. Like for instance, put a left chest over here. Use as much space as you can because you're paying for that area. You're not paying for the ink. So fill that up. And then the other thing too is like, let's say, send that order, send this order, send as many orders at once as you can so you only get nailed to one shipping cost. Because if you send like, let's say 3 or 4 different jobs over there, they don't charge you shipping for each job. They're just charging the one shipping rate. So by doing that, you can have that absorbed amongst every customer so that you might only be paying the $15 over, let's say, 3 people. So that's going to be $4 added on to every customer's order instead of 15 on one order. So you can actually, it can actually help you that way. So you can actually get a lower price per cost per shirt that you're selling the customer to, or you can keep that price up there. And now you just made that $4 more or $5 more off every shirt because you're able to add that onto there too. And you've dropped the cost on the other ones. So you're not having to pay it every time. And like I said, the other thing, which I was saying earlier to Eric, like I've pressed them on wood. I've pressed them on tile. This one is actually 2 logos. The banana was one logo, and then my bananas and pickles was another one. Because you can layer these transfers, and you don't even feel the difference. Like you can't feel the edge of where the one is to the other. So if you needed to, let's say later on, or a perfect example, let's say I did this hat, and this was a transfer. I could lay another one over the front here and put Vega 23 over it if I didn't do it and I wanted to do that. Yeah, you can layer them, Eric, and they don't run into an issue at all. Like this was actually one of this was the same one, and all I did was cut the bottom and then throw it on top. Because like I said, if you see, it's the same one. And then the bananas and pickles are the same. Let me see if I can get it to line up perfect for you. And the bananas and pickles are the same. Because these tumblers that I had, that I've done other videos on and all that, these were the actual laminates that I showed people how to do the laminations on them. It's crazy. This size, I didn't know I made it the exact same size. These are the same print. But so this will actually, this one lines up perfect over it. But so literally it won't fit on here as you see because the size of it. So what I did is I centered the pickle on there and then I threw the bananas and pickles over the top. And I mean, I could have put it on the back by itself and then did some other things, but I chose not to. But yeah, and even on the shirts, you can layer them up and they stick. They blend in pretty good. You don't really feel them. You might see that little, and as you know too, Some of them, like this one, let me find one. These are one of the older ones that I do have it. It's not showing it well. Some of them that have that glue, and if you know what I'm talking about, Eric, that glue that's around the outside a little bit, that when you press it the second time they go away. If you have that excess amount of glue around it, you will see it until you do the second press on the second time. So, but that is the only thing I've seen. And then like on wood, because this isn't gloss, let me see if I can rotate it. See right where the banana logo is right over here? There you go. See, or around .com right here. You can see the glue where they didn't get it. Now you can't. It's only at certain, there you go, where that light hits it. You can see where they didn't do the glue as good. And I didn't press this one twice. On the second time, I only pressed it once. So this was pressed twice. I pressed the banana, peeled it off, put the banana pickle sticker, pressed it, peeled it off, and I didn't go back and do a third press. If I did the third press, it might have soaked into the wood, but it still might have left a little residue. Shirts, they go away. If I stack 2 layers of the same graphics, will the color pick up through the printer to give a richer color? If you can line it up good enough, it will. The big thing is, I don't have it over there. I did that on one of these shirts right here as a test, but it's not sitting over there, so we sent it off. But I actually double layered these up, because what I ended up doing is, here's where this is another one that I might do it on this video on this one. See the letter O? What it was is, it wasn't a bad transfer. What it was is, when I was doing that one by hand, the powder, I wiped it with my finger by accident instead of using my auto. And so what happened, it ended up dropping the edge of that O off where it's fine on here. And so what I did with that other one is I stacked it on top, and it came out fine. And this is pretty small print. Like you can see the size of my finger. Or let me find something that, this is a pen to give you an idea the size of it. So it's fairly small print on that one. But as long as you can visually line it up, it will stick. Reds aren't as opaque. Yeah, and so you can line it up. It doesn't normally turn it darker, but it, like for instance, like it did fix that mess up that I had on the shirt, which it's not over there. We send it off, but it literally, I had over half the O gone, and I didn't notice it until after. And there's no really way to get them things off once they're on the shirt. So what I did is I literally stacked the other one on top. Looked perfect. You couldn't feel the stack up difference. You couldn't tell. It just took a little bit practice to get it to line up good, but it was feasible. But yeah, and then the color too. It just depends also, like what I was gonna say too, Eric, because like the opacity, like for instance, when I print mine, I can adjust the white, how much white I put, which will change how it looks on the front. The difference is, if you go too much white, and that's why some of these companies they don't go as much, or in the black, they don't print white at all. They leave black alone. Where a good example on here, I printed over the black. But you can let the black alone. Now, the thinner you go with that white layer, the even smoother it feels on the shirt. But like these other ones, like the bananas and pickles, like I've printed these also, and they feel perfectly fine on the shirt. It feels almost the same as the other ones I've used from other people. But what I did too is, like, I changed my opacity on my front color ink, and then went a little bit thicker on the white. You can also, when you print these things, You can do heavy on the colors, light on the white. It just depends on which way you want to do it. The only thing I will say, when you go heavy on them both, like heavy on the front, and let's say you do 100% opacity on the color, 100% plus on the back, because like this one I think was 75% white, and it worked out fine. Is that startup cost for DXF expensive? I'm not sure how it works. Depending which way you want to go, Patty. Here's a good example. Eric on here. Eric, what he does, he owns a print shop, and he deals with a lot of people that, like, for instance, because he can't show the artwork, so I can't have him email to show me his artwork. But he deals with clients where he needs fast turnaround. They want full color images. And so instead of him, let's say, screen printing, he does this. He buys these transfers already printed for him. He can gang a sheet. So that means he can put like 4 or 5 logos on here, or he can put one. The other thing too, here's a good example. Let's say you're doing just this left chest here, and you put it on a 13 by 19. I can fit over 20 of these on one sheet. And here's the nice thing. The companies, you only got to buy one sheet. What is the, because I don't have it in front of me, Eric. What's the price on one sheet? It's like less than $10, ain't it? I think it's like $7, $7 to $8 for a right around a 13 by 19. So the advantage, Patty, is you only pay per sheet. And they do have different size sheets, like A3, A2, A4, the 13 by 19 stuff. But $8.99, there you go, Patty. $8.99 for a big sheet. So if you can fit, like, let's say you're doing left chest, if you can fit 20 on there, then you drop that price to less. You're paying 10, 20 cents a sheet or a print. If you do one big one, yeah, it'd be an $8.99 transfer for something this big. This is massive. This, like, I'm a 2 to 3X shirt person. This thing is way bigger than you would ever really print. This will not fit an average person unless they're wearing nightgowns. So, all right, there you go. That's even bigger than I thought. Yeah. So that's 32 by 22. This is 13 by 19. So 19 is 20. So you could almost fit, if I scaled that down, I could fit 2 of them on one of them 13 by 22 sheets. So you can fit a very big area, Patty. And then now the other thing, though, like where you were asking, is it cheap to get in? So there's that route of buying them like Eric does. Awesome way to start. Eric's a perfect example because Eric's been doing this. I posted the links. The one company is, and they're in my description below. The one is Juan man, my mind is drawing a blank. Juan Transfers. Sorry. Long day today. Juan Transfers, Fusion. I will have them eventually on my website soon, Patty, because I have the equipment to print them. But that's what I was going to say. The other option is buying the equipment. You can buy desktop printers for $1,000. I've seen them a little bit less, up to $5,000 for desktop units. They're ready to go. The downside, a desktop print only does 13 by 19. In a desktop print, you're going to look, printing something this big is probably 10 minutes or longer. So you're only going to be able to do 10 shirts an hour at best. They do have bigger printers. The printer I have that I'll try to do a video this week on it. Mine is a commercial printer. That thing was about $15,000 and goes up for all the other equipment you have. The advantage, though, is mine does one of these in about 2 minutes or less. So but you pay for that cost. But honestly, if anyone's, I use that size for my 2X. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Carla. I'm that big, so I use them for me. But, like, I can't put it on a small shirt. It literally will hit the collar and start touching the bottom on, like, a small. But I did it because I'm a big person, and that prints are stuff my friend designed, and I put on literally like all my stuff that I make, these tumblers and everything. I print all the artwork that he designs for me. So I use it on a lot of the stuff. But yeah, so the best thing, Patty, is it's another tool in your toolbox that it doesn't cost any money to go with these transfer companies, and it's the price is very well priced, I guess you could say, because I can print it for myself cheaper, but I had to pay a huge investment. So let's say you got to do 100 shirts. That small desktop printer, you're going to be there for 10 to 12 hours printing all them transfers. So on that, you could order them and you can have them. Eric got the last order he ordered. He got them in 6 days. So you could have your orders ready to go. All you do is press them. They're cold peel transfers. So you press it right around 320, 325, lift up, set it aside, let it cool. You peel it right off when it's cold, repress it, out the door. So that being said, that's a huge advantage there, is all you do is got to have a heat press. So everyone on here normally does have heat presses. So that saves you a lot of headache. The other thing too, like I was saying too, and I got to find out which one I put it. The other cool thing about it too is you can press them on hats. So you can do a bunch of hat presses for people that want full color hats. The other awesome thing, press it on the wood. And the nice thing is I've got white ink now that's pressed on a wood. The only other way to do that is like my UV printer. But like you can do coasters, full color coasters with white. And literally, like, especially this size right here, you're talking like 10 cents if you buy the sheet of them, less than 10 cents an area. That's pretty cheap to do that. And you don't have to worry about your equipment. I will say this too. If you have any issues with them transfers, them companies that I list, give them a call. Let me know and I'll try to talk for them too. Eric had an issue before. They had a print head issue. They had banding on it. They do try to work their best to get it worked out. And they normally do take care of their customers. Sometimes there's a little delay in it because the time zone difference, and then sometimes they don't get it back as quick. I've been dealing with them a long time because I use them for a lot of different things. So they tend to, I wouldn't say listen to me better, but I deal with them all the time. So like Eric had the issue, I contacted them. They took care of it. Send them out the others. They should refund. They're fairly good people to work with. The only downside, like I said, your colors are, it's a little learning curve on the colors. But that's going to be the same thing when you sublimate. I want a plotter printer. Going to try to get one by November. Plotter printers are amazing. Carla, I use a solvent printer. I take it off after though because I don't have the print cut on mine, but I use Mamaki stuff. Very great stuff though. You can do so much with them. You can do stickers and all that. So if you start selling them, I would just send you the images. Yeah, Patty, that's what I'm planning on doing. What I'm going to probably do, it's working in the back office right now. It's not online. It's only where I can see it. But I do have the page builder on my website. It's just not seen yet. And on there, literally, you'll drop a PNG or a TIFF file with a transparent background into the file folder. And it will have the size and all that. And then it will dump it out to me. And I just hit print from there. So you'll have to import it at the size you want it. But the size, like literally, and on my back end, it will say, let's say, I'll have a few different sizes. So it'll say like an 8.5 by 11. It will have a true 8.5 by 11 paper on there. So if you drew it 8.5 by 11, you drop it in, it's going to be perfect. But you drop the page size in there, and then I'll get the artwork, run as high resolution as you can, because if you run low resolutions, you do see the pixelation on the quality if it's blown up or something changes. But yeah, all you'll do is drop it in on my page builder. It says quantity and all that, a few little check boxes that you got to check, and then it sends it out, and then I send you literally the roll of the print ready to go, and all you do is you get them back, and then you're good to go. You just press them on there, cold peel, and then do a second peel and you're good to go. Hey everyone, just finished my heat pressing. Bunch of plastisol transfers today. How'd it go for you, Greg? Does it hold better than vinyl, or is it similar to printing screens? So far, Patty, I have had this stuff, like the one shirt I've washed, the green shirt that I wear on here a lot with the logo on it, that thing's been washed over 30 times. Holds up just like it did day one. I've had some, because I've been testing this stuff for over a year and a half now, almost 2 years. Some of the stuff I've tested held up. This thing right here, now the shirts I've washed them and did wash testing, and I wear them all the time. This I haven't washed, but this thing I stretch literally every time I do a live. I show people these, and I'll show you how stretchable they are. This is a polyester shirt, and as you know, polyester is very stretchy. As you can see, the artwork is on the other side. You could never stretch screen print and it not keep popping back. This thing has been stretched probably 1,000,000 times, and it still is crisp as can be. And like I said, it's a nice feel. They work great. Eric will vouch for you on that. Eric's been using them a long time. They hold up. As long as you press them good, they hold up. Even on that tile I pressed on ceramic tile. I didn't coat it. Very few things stick to ceramic tile surface really easy without just coming right up. That ceramic tile, it took a little pressing to get the heat into it. Once I got it in and peeled it off, it stuck, and I had to actually scrape really hard to get it off. I was able finally to get it off because I'm going to do another video on it, but it stuck even to ceramic. So the stuff holds up. Like I said, I pressed this on a coaster here. You can layer the image. So I layered this, Patty, like I said a minute ago. This was the same one. So the bananas and pickles, I cut it and stuck it right on top of the coaster thing right after. And it held up perfectly fine. So you can stack them, layer them. You can put them on leather, polyester, any material you can think of. These things stick to them. And they work great. I mean, like you would never be able to get that kind of resolution in screen printing that you can get with these things. So that part, they're pretty good. I mean, I have no major complaints with them. That part is something that's very impressive with them. It's just getting your colors how you want, because you can't have it in RGB. It's got to be CMYK. And CMYK looks muted on your screen. And like we were saying earlier, your blues and reds are a little bit more. If you use RGB red and RGB blue, you won't be happy on that first order. You're gonna have to tweak your colors. Like Eric said, Eric tweaked his colors and he loves them things now. I mean, and everyone that I know has been using them, they're pretty impressive. I've been using them a bunch. Just for me, for instance, we do a lot of ship fulfillments for companies and online sales. So what we do is they'll have full color prints. Before, it was a pain, and we limited how they did that. And so we would only have like a 2 or 3 color shirt, and we were stuck with printing it, putting it on the shelf, hoping it sold. And then we went to the transfers, and it worked. But even then, to have a 2 to 3 color print transfers from like F&M and all that, they're pretty pricey. We made our own transfers. And so eventually it came down to stuff like this, which the advantage now is literally, which you can't see, but I've got shirts that what you see hanging down there, that black, them are just shirts sitting there. But what I do is we literally got cases of shirts sitting there, all the sizes and the major colors that we agreed to print. So what we do is when an order comes in for whatever they need to be fulfilled, we either already have these, because this stuff will hold up. Like the paper stuff holds up a long time. If you're worried, put them with a desiccant packet in a sealed envelope, like a plastic bag, seal it up with the desiccant pack, and they'll last years. But so we have them ready, or if we need some, we print them up right then. And then all we do is grab the shirt, press it, peel it, repress it, bag it, and send it out, and it's good to go. The other nice thing you can do labels in the back of the neck. So you can use them if you really want to get creative and be totally customizable with the clothing and apparel. You can use them for that stuff. And they work very, very well. I mean, that's the least how I can describe it. There's other people that right now I don't see them on here, but there are other ones that normally are on here that chime in that use them for other things. And it's just another thing to add to your arsenal or your toolbox of equipment. Because like I said, a lot of people, let's say when they start out, they might only have a 1-color press or a 4-color press. To do something like this, you're going to need a 6 to 8 color press. The downside with something like this is you can get away with blending colors, but like you're not going to get, for instance, this deep purple would be a spot color purple. So that means I'd have to have spot color purple. So this could be totally like a 10-color print if you're doing spot colors on it. Where you could do halftones on these browns, you're just not going to get as crisp brown. Or you could do like a CMYK, but it's just a lot more stuff that you would go into doing that, where when you do it with this, these colors are perfect. It covers all the way over there. You can even see these little splots that we have all the way over here. You can print pretty much as small as you can get it, and it shows up. And so, like I said, they work perfect. You can do, like I said, on these things, and like I said, you can do some very fine detail stuff like this wording. It's hard to see, but it's pretty small for what it is. But like I said, and the rest is simple to do. But like, for instance, if you were trying to, hey, Martin, how's it going? So if you were trying to screen print one of these, this is a 3-color screen print job. So if you only had one shirt that came in, now you've got 3 screens to tie up just to do that, or 4 if you're going to do top white on it. The size of this, I can fit on a 22 by 32. I can fit about 15 to 20 of these on there. And so that would be $8.99. So I've got less than $1 a piece in each one. I'm looking at more like $0.25 a piece. So I can have that ready to go when that order comes in. You heat press it, send it out, and it's done that quick. So like I said, there are pluses and minuses. Like I said, the negative is maybe the cost and the turnaround time. The dog's barking. Normally she don't bark. I just had to kind of listen to see if she's barking again, because she doesn't normally bark like that. Yeah, I think I just buy the prints. I'll have to watch a video on it. Yeah, I have a few videos, Patty. I think someone's here. But yeah, that's the big thing. Is just check out some of the videos on it, Patty, I have, because I explain about them. And then I show you like where I've tested them even almost a year ago. I've got videos that far back on them. But I've tested them, and like I said, this video, for instance, isn't up yet. I'm going to try to upload it this week. But I've done other videos like to show you how well they hold up, the testing on them. It took me about 6 practices until I got the heat pressing time right. After that, it was smooth sailing. Yeah, that's the thing, Greg. Once you get that little rhythm, once you figure out the temp on the stuff, because like normal transfers, plastisol transfers, depending on what you're putting them on, like if you're putting them on hoodies, you got to worry about dye migration if it's a white print. So you got to make sure you get that temp right. But once you find that temp, and like you said, it takes a few practice ones to get it dialed in and then get your rhythm down. Once you do that, that stuff goes quick on transfers. And like I said, I mean, I have a full screen print shop, so I do print a lot more than we do transfers. But lately, like on a lot of things, like for instance, some of this stuff is for some of the clothing lines we have, and it is so much easier to, like on this is a 3-screen job because we don't do a top white. So if someone orders this from my clothing line, before we were actually having to either have them shelved already, every size, and we do up to 5X on that line. So we got to do from small to 5X and have it on a shelf of every size. And the thing is, with like that Detroit line that we have about 10 or 15 shirts. So it was getting to be a lot of space and a lot of product. And then what we started to do too is we would just pull out the screens, wait till the end of the week, and print anything that came in at the end of the week, so that we might print, let's say, 5 of these shirts. So we'd pull out 3 of the screens, line it up, and print the shirts. But there'd be some weeks where you'd only have 1 shirt come in. So you have to register a 3-screen job to print 1 shirt. And a lot of times you're using, we've got so many junk shirts, it's not funny, but you'd use a junk shirt as like a test platen or Palon, whatever you want to call it. So you run a test to make sure everything's lined up, and then throw it through the dryer. If it did line up, everything was fine, then you're good to go with the print. But it would take 15 minutes minimum to do that, get it all set up, fill with ink, do the test, make sure it's lined up, just to run 1 shirt. Where now I can just go pull these out or print one fairly quick. Or like I said, if I already have them made, because a lot of the stuff we've got 10 to 15 of these at a time that we automatically make sure we have. Because the other thing too, the printer's got to run every day. So what I do too is I'll run other things and just keep it running. So I might one day run the Detroit ones. I've got some other lines that we do, name tags and all that. So we'll run so many things throughout the day or days just to make sure the printer's running. But so what we end up doing now when this order comes in, we will fulfill that order that day because we'll go pull this out. It took me one thing. The heat press is already fired up. So I press it, peel it, press it again, and bag the thing. And then I'm able to give them a fully customizable shirt. Good to go, no problems within pretty much same day turnaround time, same quality. They hold up amazing. The feel is amazing. And like, because the other thing too, like that was a polyester shirt. This is a Toltex. But let me zoom in and you can see, and I'll show you, like on this police, you press them and literally, let me see if it focuses. Yeah, see like on the ICE, watch out, Juan, ice is after you. But you can see the fibers in the shirt. So you can press them that well into the shirt. So it's just like a screen print. And it bonds and holds really well. And it looks great. So like I said, I think a lot of these places I think are going to be going to stuff like that now, just because the easeability and the advantages of things like that. Or like, for instance, I don't have it around here. I did a pirate shirt a long time ago, a few months back, and he used that. Well, that pirate shirt, when we started counting, had like 8 to 10 colors. So he couldn't have done it with this 1 color press, and it was spot color in the zones. So you could have half-toned it. But the issue was, too, is they had custom numbers on the back of them jerseys that he did. So they were custom numbers. They weren't just a standard number that had the kid's name. So you couldn't get that color that they had because that color matched the front of the logo. So the numbers were custom as a custom color and the name. So you couldn't do that in cut vinyl. Now, you could have used a cut vinyl that was close to that, but then you're wasting all the dead space in these numbers. So the advantage of it was he went with the transfers, and literally, so he was able to give the custom color and numbers on the back with the name. the emblem on the front, so you can customize everything. And like I said, they don't charge you to gang them. So literally, he had a sheet with just numbers and names on it. And so cut them out, put them on there. They stuck to polyester. They stick to hoodies, and they're pretty much all around. They're really good. It's hard to beat them. So if I purchase an image from Etsy, would I be able to send you that? Print it once you start your offer? Yeah, pretty much. What my page will have, and it's just because I gotta have it. It will just say, "Hey, do you have the rights to this artwork? Do you own the rights?" And if you check that box, and it's you say you do, then we're able to print it. What does happen? There are people that buy, like for instance, these artwork is mine. I've created it. Or my tattoo friend created them for me. All these, like he created my bananas and pickle logo. These are all my logos. But like, so if let's say I drew a Disney one. Disney technically owns the right to anything Disney. Now there are ways that people are selling them, but technically Disney still owns the right to Disney. So you can get in trouble for printing Disney stuff. Now, some people do buy the rights for like the embroidery stuff, and they have the rights to it. So as long as you check that box, it's just saying that you're responsible if they came and said, "Hey, where'd they get the artwork?" You can prove it to them that you have the artwork. So that's all that's for. But it's one of them things, more or less. It just protects me because there's so much art that people draw. Like I said, like all this stuff. I would never be able to trace it down who drew it. I know it's Pinhead, but or Freddy Krueger, or Jason. But they didn't draw them like this. So that just protects me. But that's what these other ones have too on it. Eric can vouch for that. The other one, you check a box saying it's your artwork, your rights, and things get printed. It's just a safety precaution, and that's one of the things. Any of these sites that doing the printing, they do that just so that it saves the company, like my company in general, so that if someone else says they own that rights to it, the person can vouch for it and say, "Hey, I paid for it. I bought rights from so-and-so." Same thing with Tumblr stuff. If you remember back in the day, it still happens. Someone says, "Hey, I drew that." There's 5,000 people with that Tumblr out there. Someone's got to say where they got it from at the end of the day. But yeah, pretty much, Patty, anything that that you send will be fine to print. Like I said, we're getting set up. The other thing I will say, and I'm sure Eric can vouch for it. Like for instance, here's a good example. You want to have space. Like I've got space in between all these. They're not touching. Here's another good example. This right here is a massive solid piece of plastic. Now, the only spot I've got spacing is around these dots. So now these dots, you're not going to feel it. But when you have something that big, a perfect example is this image right here. This is all solid. So you do hear there's a sound difference. This is the back side. This is the front side with the image on it. There's a slight sound difference. It does have a slight different hand feel. If you have voids in it, like down here where they've got these specks, or like this nugget thing, then it has an even softer feel. The more voids you have, softer it feels. If you put a solid, let's say, big square or just a big circle, it's going to feel like a big circle. What I used to say, like it's kind of like in vinyl. If you do a solid round circle in vinyl, it's like a bulletproof vest. If you do all this where it's knocked out, where you got the spacing around it all, yeah, it feels really soft, feels really good. If all this was filled in, let's say I filled this whole thing in with white so that it could go on, let's say, a black shirt or whatever color shirt, then it's going to feel solid there. If you got voids in here like this does, it's going to be a softer feel. So that's one of the things too, is to remember that when you do your artwork. Like I said, like these are solid around everything, but there's gap between the top and bottom. So this is going to have a hand feel but there's gap in between. So it's going to feel like a real screen print. This is going to have a little heavier hand feel. It's not, anyone that's had these will tell you it's a different feel. It's hard to say. And when you wear them and wash them, they tend to feel different after that too. So it's kind of one of them things that's, you get used to it, but it's just a different thing. I can't really describe it. But like I said, the prints are pretty impressive. Like I said, I mean, I have stretched this thing a million gazillion times. Then you would never stretch a shirt this much. There's no need to. I mean, like, look, I'm pulling the fibers apart, and the thing still is perfectly fine. So, I mean, they hold up. It's especially if you're doing full color, it's probably one of the best ways to do full color on a shoestring budget. The only other way to get something even close to that would be screen printing, and even some of this detail you could never get even with screen printing. It's just not obtainable. What's up, Jesse? How's it going? So does anyone know what happened? Yeah, I'm hoping this coming week, Patty, I'm going to do it. It's just trying to get everything else knocked out, but I am hoping I will this week. Does anyone know if what's his name? Them brothers, they had that fight with the UFC fighter in the boxing match. Who won that? Jake Paul and the other ones. I'm just kind of wondering who won that. Jake Paul versus Tyrone fight. Woodley. Oh, it's actually on Sunday. Oh, well. The other thing to watch, guys, too, tomorrow is the Little League World Series. I'm originally from Taylor, Michigan, and they are playing for the championship. Taylor North is playing against Ohio. So watch that. There's a bunch of heavy hitters. I've got a few friends that kids are playing on that. So check it out, guys, if you get time. Is there any questions, guys? Because we're going on 2 o'clock or 2 hours. So I'm going to get ready to hop off here. And I'm actually going to work on some prints some more tonight. So and edit some videos. So if there's any other questions, you're rooting for Hamilton. So, hey, I'm sorry you're an Ohio fan. I mean, just remember, we do got more national championships in football than you guys. And remember this. I'm just throwing this out there. I don't know if you know, but there's someone they call the GOAT in football, kind of one of the best quarterbacks ever. He went to U of M. I'm just saying. Thanks a lot, Eric. I'm glad you stopped in. Glad to see you again. And I'll do that video. I'll try to drop it this week, Eric, showing how you can layer this stuff even on shirts, because it's pretty cool, the other stuff you can use them on. Thanks for chiming in, Eric, because it's nice that someone used it that I can actually point to instead of me saying I use it all the time. and to show, because like I said, I haven't ordered from him in a little while. I still talk to them because they call me, but I didn't know how the shipping was, because I knew when they got sick a while back and then they caught back up, but I haven't ordered pretty much, I think, one time since. So it's always nice to have other people's that can help. I'm in Kentucky. What part of Kentucky, Patty, are you in? Are you northern Kentucky or eastern Kentucky? If I'm not mistaken, you said eastern before, didn't you? Northern, okay. I've never even heard of that part. Now I'm gonna have to see where that's at compared to where I'm at. Yeah, Eric, in our area, um, what it was is our state, they oh wow, you're way up there north. You're almost near you're in Frankfurt, even past Frankfurt. You're in the Florence area almost. Yeah, you're right on that line. What they did, like Andy Bashir is our governor, he mandated it, but and he did it for the schools, but he's been overvoted on it, and he lost in the Kentucky Supreme Court. So, okay, you're near Florence. I know exactly where that's at. Um, so what happened is he was shot down, but schools are allowed to mandate him. He just can't do a statewide mandate without going to the House and the Senate and all that stuff. So, for instance, like the district I'm in right here, I'm in Western Kentucky. They mandated masks even before that, so masks are mandated there. Stores are, it's up to them. There are stores that have been requiring it again. Yeah, I'm in Western Kentucky. I'm right outside of Bowling Green where the Corvettes are made. Right near Western Kentucky University, WKU. Yeah, so I'm trying to picture on a map here because for Michigan I can point out on a Michigan map because it's our hand, but I'm over here. I'm in right outside of Bowling Green, and then 45 minutes from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm right near 65. But I'm originally from Michigan. That's why I'm rooting for the Michigan team. Yeah, land between the lakes. Yep. That's about a 30, 45-minute drive for me. Wife and I are trying to get away from all this BS here in Vegas. We escaped California, ran into some issues here in Nevada, and I'm looking at South Dakota. The thing with here, though, Eric, they're not. It's like some of the stores are ones that never removed the mandate, I guess you'd say. The only issue is schools right now, but they're only doing it till, was it Labor Day or Memorial Day? So it's like next week, and then they're going to reevaluate it. That's kind of how they did it. With what happened, Andy won because this is a Republican state, and Democrats voted for him, but there was issues with the last governor. So pretty much they've got him in control. So anytime he votes on something, or does mandates, it's been shot down. He's lost in the Kentucky Supreme Court. But so he's kind of can't really do too much. But with the state, like for instance, we're on the news a lot around here is like our hospitals are mandating it for employees. It's required to get the vaccination. There's no question they've got to have it by October. So it's kind of one of them things. Like he's throwing it to the shops and the industries, I guess you'd say, to mandate it. The college is not required here to have the shots or wear a mask. but they're giving like incentives. They're giving, like, we also have a raffle for $1 million in our state. They've done this. We've got one more coming. It'll be 3 million total for people that were vaccinated. The college is doing that too. At Western here, they're giving out a year of tuition, MacBooks and all that for people to get vaccinated. But yeah, we're not like California where it's required, but the schools, like I said, in my district, they required it. Other ones have not. It just depends on where you're at. So it's one of them things, like I told people, like the sales cut back on the mask a while back. And then literally the beginning of this month, they shot way up again because, a lot of them were not in state here. They were other states that required it, Eric. Now, my state, like I said, we did have a bigger increase in sales in this state just because a lot of the schools required it, and we deal with a lot of the local schools, so they were buying them. But we haven't gotten like some of the other states yet, but we'll have to see. I mean, Patty says, I feel like so many people are getting the virus right now that maybe there will be herd immunity here. Yeah, and like Patty said, our state, we are very high on the vaccination rate, or not vaccination, infection rate. We're pretty high up there right now. Our numbers are pretty high. And then now our vaccination rate is very low. We're one of the lower states that have been vaccinated. All the issues with the homeless, they are doing raffles for damn vaccinations. Don't make any sense. Now, that's one thing. We have homeless populations here, but it's not like in other states, like even Vegas, because I've been out there a bunch. Cali, it's not as bad as them states, or definitely not Michigan. But like our thing, like I said, is they use the tax money. Like we did, like I said, we've got one more drawing coming up for the $1 million. And then the other thing too, with that though, they give, I think it's 10 scholarships for anyone under 18 on each thing. So it'll be a total of like 30 scholarships to college for the people that got vaccinated. So there were a lot of push on that stuff. The numbers show it didn't help though. It didn't increase the things. I did get vaccinated in the earlier time just because I have a pretty weak immune system and the people I'm around. But it's one of the things. It's up to people. I don't care if they get it or not. It's up to them. It's personal choice. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I don't have many side effects. No, I'm pretty good. But I do see the worry about some people. There are things that can happen from it. It's one of the things I just tell people, make whatever choice they feel best for them. I would like to see, like she said too, I'd like to see herd immunity come. Herd immunity only gets there when it's over about 80%, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know if we'll hit it soon. The United States and the full population, I want to say is 44% totally, and then I think it's like 48% with one. So we'll have to see. What happens too is they keep. I got it, but I don't like them trying to force it on others. Yeah, you know the crazy thing, Eric. Like I got it before they did all this incentives. And I told someone, I was like, it's crazy now they're offering all this stuff. I was like, I got it before anything was, like, they're giving stuff free to people. What's up, Mike from NovaWorks? And so, like, to me, it was weird because, like I said, I got it way back in the day. I got it when I left the hospital. I had kidney stones, and I was in the hospital for a few days. And so I got it. It was around January or February, I think. But I had an appointment to get it that day, but it was weird. I left that day and went and got it, but I didn't get the vaccination, but I've had COVID in January. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Even if you do have the vaccination, you can still get it. Like literally I had to go Friday and get checked. That's what you hear, like that cough and all that I keep having. I went and got checked because I had a fever and all the signs that it could be it. My husband got the Johnson Johnson. I got Pfizer. Mine was Pfizer vaccination. But they say too, after so long, it's like only 60% effective, anyways. And there were people I knew that had it, and like I said, I got kind of like a little chest congestion, all the stuff that could be signs of it. So I went and got checked twice this week, but both came back negative. So it was good, but it's kind of, you always still worry, even though you've been vaccinated, because you can still get it. And it's not as strong the longer it goes out, they've been finding. So it's kind of, I do worry sometimes. Like I said, it's, and there's not much you can do. You just kind of hope it comes back. And they've got a few different of them checks. I'm sure everyone knows how it goes. Every time they've checked me, they use the one. They don't use the like swirl around one. They go the one where they probe into your brain. And it was horrible, the last one. It was, I don't know if I was their first time testing that or what, but I think they did like a scalp on my, or check on my brain cells and all that, because it reminded me of a circus thing. They do where they keep pulling the thing out. Like that thing was like this long, and I'm like doing the math. I'm like, that's past my brain cell and all that. Like they just kept jamming that thing up there. I was like, oh my goodness, it was it was horrible. But yeah, it came back fine. So, and like I said, they checked other stuff, just a respiratory infection. So it's all good. PCR tests are not accurate. Yeah, that's what they're saying too, Eric. And like I said, like I've done twice this week, because we had to also. But it's just kind of, it's one of the things that's just like, I've been tested a bunch, and it's not fun getting the test. That's when I got the vaccination, not to have to worry too much. And it seems like I've been in there a bunch. Sup again. Rye is back with the brand new edition. Something grabs a hold of him tightly. Flows like a hawk boat daily and nightly. General Zatapa is back. I still think that's one of your best photos, Rye. It's just either that or the football one, because you got that mustache and you did that football. It looks like, what was that football show back in Texas Blue or whatever it was called? Something Blue. Is it Texas, about Texas football growing up? I remember watching that movie. That's what Rye reminds me of, except he wasn't the quarterback. Martin Jones, long way up there to find anything. Hey, they did hit something, Martin. I don't know what they hit, but there's something bouncing around up there. I think they knocked the bird off the little cage, because I kept hearing tweets and all that after that. I had one of the videos. I don't think I got it anymore. I had the one that actually, I recorded it as I do weird things. I recorded the first one I ever got done. And it was pretty painful. It was kind of funny in a way, because but I find this stuff humorous. I mean, to me, it doesn't kill me, so I can't complain, but I do always kind of think of that stuff. I'm like, and then I see some people, like, they don't even phase or think twice about it. So, boy, I found a bunch of old donut photos. It's kind of crazy, all the random stuff I see or have on here. You know, the crazy thing, this shows you how old. Right now, what I'm drinking is the new Mountain Dew Voodoo for this year, 2021. Here's one of the crazy photos. I've got the 2020 Voodoo photo saved for some reason, random reason. They changed the coloring on the. They got rid of that red and put like another blue, but keep random things on the phone. It's just weird. Has anyone heard how Denise has been? I haven't seen Denise on here in a little while. Here you guys go. One of the worst things ever. Look at that. That was 12 inches into my nostril. That is not supposed to happen. That was very painful. And then here's the messed up part. I'll show you this. Here's what they give you. They send you this showing how it's done. Now look, they went downwards. That person went upwards. Now if we look and the photo's not good, you can see the sinus gland, that layer right there. They went the wrong way. They went up instead of down. Yeah, it was. And that one wasn't the worst one. The one over the week or Friday was the worst one. Like I said, I've had some painful ones. The other kind of cool thing, which for most of you people isn't cool, but to me, my friend is sending me some Fago firework. It's a pop. Fago's known for Michigan. But the firework was the one that literally they were selling on eBay for like $100 and something. It was a limited run. It tastes like Rocket Pops, the ice cream. But, or the Rocket Pops, the popsicles. Anyways, them are on the way, so I'll be able to do a test review on that. So it was that was something, to me anyways, that's looking forward to. Because what was funny, yeah, Detroit's known for Fago. I mean, they make all the different. They're like Baskin Robbins, except they're good quality pop. It's not like a cheap flavor. Like their flavors are very distinct and good. And Werner's, you just nailed it, Eric. Werner's is like, you cannot compare A&W Werner's, or not A&W. You cannot compare Werner's with any other cream soda out there. Eric will testify. It's got like a vanilla, it's a bite. Like literally when you're sick in Michigan, you drink Werner's. Or you have Werner's floats. But it is not like ginger ale, like Canadian Dry or anything. It is a ginger ale, but it's its own taste ginger ale. I do have some of that upstairs. And it's not bad. It's really good. Yeah, like he said, a very distinct taste. You can taste a little vanilla in it. It's got a sharp bite to it. It's just different. And it's one of them things that's you either like it or don't, though. Some people don't like it. It's a strong taste, but that's another one of the Michigan kind of. We got a lot of little things like I've said before. We created the Coney Island dog thing, not Coney Island the thing, but the island part. But the hot dog thing was us, chili dog, Fago Pop, Better Made chips, Werner's, M&M. But yeah, no, we're known for a bunch of little random things up there, and Werner's is one, and then Fago's the other. And like I said, that pop, it's crazy. Let me see if I can still. Let me see if I can find what they're selling it for. It was crazy. How much people were scalping it on. Yeah, right here you go. This one's very crazy. Like these people are wanting a 24 pack. They're wanting $100 for a 24 pack of them. It's like a 12-ounce thing. Yeah, it's actually 10 cent. Yeah, so that'd be 20 cents total. Yeah, because up there, everything, they refund bottles and cans. It's 10 cents on everything. And so what they do, they charge you on top of it. So like when you buy, let's say, a 12 pack of pop or a case of pop, a 24 case. Like a 24 case, you pay $2.40 on top of that pop also. Yeah, Eric's saying it too. See, you're bringing back all my memories, Eric. He's like, I was a kid, I'd hustle to make money. Like you'd go pick up cans, or your neighbor would have a party and all the beer bottles and all that. And you'd be like, hey, I'll pick up the yard for you. Like all the beer bottles. And most of the time they'd be like, yeah, come and get them. Or like, I remember just a little kid, like you'd go like try to go through the alley and find enough money to get some candy. Cause like collecting bottles. And look, Seinfeld did the same thing on that, where they did that whole truckload of bottles and trying to take them up there. Because literally, like you take them to the party store, like wherever they sell pop, they got to take the cans back and the bottles. So what they do is they'll pay you out for that. So you'll go back literally, like a lot of people, they've got machines now up there. But you'll go to Myers and literally put like $100 worth of cans back in the machine. But when you were a kid, like I mean, you get $4 or $5 of taking pop bottles and beer bottles back, and can bottles, or cans, not bottles, but like they're all refundable. So it's funny, like I don't have a can down here, but they all say 10-cent refundable on them. So yeah, that was one of the things too. It's like, it's a little, like he said, it's a little hustle thing. But I remember when I was always little, taking back cans, or like in our school, that's how our track program paid for it. Our track coach, he was a teacher, and outside the classroom, he had a bin, because we had a school store and you could buy pop and all that in there. And so you would just drop the cans in there if you wanted to donate it to them. But he would do that and then take them back. Patty says, yeah, it shows our age. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I'm born in 79, so I'll be like 42 this year. But yeah, it's funny. I just remember all that stuff. Like when Eric said that, because normally Denise is on here. Denise knows about Werner. She still lives up there. And then Fago. But it's funny because not many people know some of the Michigan things. So it's always nice to see that, or just people that remember the pop returns and all that stuff. Because, like I said, I just remember it's like a thing, taking back cans. And here in Kentucky, we don't have that. So like you'll see people take cans back, but they're just doing it like scrap value. They're crushing them down, because here you get scrap value. So whatever the metal is, so it's roughly about a penny a can. So it's very low compared to what you'd get other places. There are people that do it. Literally, I still put them in a big bin, and I just take them like once a month. But yeah, there you go, Greek Festival. And then Greek Town. I remember when Greek Town was open in Trapper's Alley. That's no longer there. But yeah, the Greek Fest and all that, and the Polish food. Punchkis, there you go, Eric. Punchki Day, which is Fat Tuesday, which correlates to the first day of Mardi Gras. But punchkis is a Polish food, and you have them on Fat Tuesday, and it's a donut. Yeah, Boblo Belle Isle. Yep, I remember the Boblo boat when I was little, riding the boat over to Boblo and seeing the all that stuff. And then see, the other thing I remember being in Michigan though is, at least especially the part that I was from, downriver area. I remember every year we'd look forward to like the summertime, and we'd go to Cedar Point. We'd ride the roller coasters in Sandusky, Ohio. But that was one of the other things too. That the other thing too I remember is Michigan and Trumbull. Yeah, Mike, you're up there in age. Yeah, Sandusky. Yep. But yeah, anyone that like my age knows what Michigan and Trumbull is. That's the corner of Tiger Stadium, the old one, anyways. The new one's not there anymore, but I remember always going there, and I remember all the old stuff. I remember the Bad Boys, Dennis Rodman, Isaiah Thomas. Used to grow up every summer, yeah. Yeah, them were the good old days, Eric. Like I told people, I said, like people are always like, oh, it's a bad area up there. I remember more good than bad. I remember also, too, occasionally going up, like we had a cottage up north in West Branch area. But I remember going to Sleeping Bear Dunes, which is way up here on the map. But it's just fun things I remember growing up doing. It's kind of, never forget that always. And then Woodward Dream Cruise. I remember going looking at the cars. Taylor had their own cruise. Gibraltar Trade Center, when that was open. I remember all these kind of, concerts. The, what is it called? It's in Waterford, the outdoor venue out there. It's right there. Any other time I could have told you. But yeah, the outside concerts out there and all that. All the good old times up there. I remember the Palace of Auburn Hills, which is no longer there, or the Silverdome. I remember watching WrestleMania 1 there in the Pontiac Silverdome. I was in first grade. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Good old days. But thanks everyone so much. I am gonna hop off there this time. We got sidetracked and just kept going on. But thanks everyone again. I'm glad everyone stopped in. Glad everyone had a great time. I'll drop some of them videos for you guys and show you some more stuff. If you guys ever have any questions, let me know and I'll try to answer them. Try to make a video on it. Or if you guys have any issues with vendors or something, let me know and I'll try to help get it worked out for you guys. Thank you guys for watching, guys. Always great. We're getting close to the total subscriber, guys. Once we hit that, we'll have a giveaway also. Just keep that in mind. So try to help me we need I think another 30 subscribers to hit the 2,000 to 2K. And we'll be giving some stuff out. Thank you guys so much for watching. One second. Juan said he found my van. Thanks a lot, Juan. Thank you guys so much, Juan, Rye, Eric, Patty. They're still going on. But Jesse and everyone, thanks again, guys, for watching, subscribing, all that. I'm Waldo. I'm out.